All right, good afternoon. At least it's afternoon here in Oregon. Welcome to our Classic Southern Gospel Reviews. Today we will be reviewing This Could Be the Dawning by the Pacific Coast Baptist Bible College Chorale from San Dimas, California. I'm actually really excited about this review today because it's from my alma mater. Well, in a way, Pacific Coast Baptist Bible College today as an entity is Heartland Baptist Bible College, now in Oklahoma City. This recording was actually made about 6 or 7 years after they were founded, and soon after they had moved to San Dimas, California. And I'll just go on to say, as you're listening right now, this is not the best quality recording that they made. This is their very first one, and they had recorded it in the chapel, from what I believe. I actually had the opportunity to do an internship one summer under the guy who played the bass guitar for this album, and of course he was able to describe everything they did. And also, if you are anything familiar with Heartland, you'll also notice that instrumentally this album's a lot different. And if you listen to a lot of their recordings from the 70s, you'll hear drums. Now I know these days drums are usually frowned upon within most independent Baptist circles, but apparently through the 70s, not as much. Now what he did tell me was that while the chorale toured with their pianist, and then he played the bass guitar, and they also toured with the drum set, there were a few churches that weren't, at least didn't show any animosity or shock, but did ask them politely just to leave the drums and the bass, and understandable. But you're listening to This Could Be the Dawning right now. This is actually the opening track, and this is actually probably my favorite arrangement of the song. Brother Otis Ledbetter arranged much of the music, and I think he arranged all of it actually, and his arrangements are amazing. I really love the arrangements. I've been able to collect a few of these albums. Just a little history on my possession of this album. I had just gotten back to Oklahoma City from visiting my family here in Oregon. This is when I was in college, and I decided I was going to stop by St. Vinny's, which is a little St. Vinny's down the street from Heartland. And I walked in there, I was looking at records, because being the weird guy that I am, I like to collect LP records. I actually had a turntable in my room, and I came across this recording, and the look on my face, priceless, because I find this recording, their very first recording, not 5 blocks down the street from the school at a thrift store, and I just wondered who would have gotten rid of it. And so I went around and I bought it, told the clerk that the school is now just down the street from St. Vinny's. I was so excited that I brought it back, and I showed it to everybody, showed them a piece of Heartland history, and yeah, so recorded it on my computer. I'm going to reburn the CD in a better quality. You're right now listening to the second song now. It's Don't Let the Song, and I guess I should say Don't Let the Song Play while I'm talking over whatever. Yeah. I'm having too much fun with this. It's a nice, quiet song. I guess we can move on to the next song. So not only was this a chorale of 15, 20 students at Pacific Coast at the time, but they also had a quartet out of that chorale, and this is before the days of Glory Bound and Assurance and Witness, so they were it. And this song is I Never Loved Him Better Than Today, and the quartet sings. They actually sing about 3 or 4 songs on this album. It's about a 12-song album. And they're really good got as good a blend for the method of recording. They didn't record in the studio, like I said. They recorded in the chapel, and it was everything. All the instruments, all the vocals were recorded at once, and so there's not really much room for post-recording and mixing, which is why albums today sound so good. This, it's like when you go to a church and you hear the recording of a group that's singing in the church service, singing special, but then you listen to the studio recording, it's how much cleaner, and it's kind of the example here. The next one is The Answer. After that is First Place in Your Heart, and it's kind of a, I know I skipped over The Answer. I do literally skip over a couple of these tracks. Like I said in most of my reviews, I'll say, these aren't my favorite tracks. And I usually skip over songs that aren't my favorite unless I'm just driving down the road and I have it for ambient noise. First Place in Your Heart is a good song. And I've actually considered, even though I've skipped over the song, I've considered the message. Does Christ have first place in my life? The next song is kind of a fun song. It's In My Heart, and there's a few of these songs where they are long choral pieces, and they'll stop and they'll go again. It's like almost there's different settings, different pieces within each song. They'll do kind of a fast 4/4, and then they'll stop and do a slow 3/4 waltz or 6/8, and then that'll stop, and then it'll start it again. And it's an interesting way to sing the songs, and some of these songs I'd actually like to see make a comeback, maybe with the New Witness, or even with the Heartland Choir. I think it'd be great pieces. So if you're listening to this, Brother Mast, we got some ideas. That's the end of side 1. Side 2 starts with Pearly Gates. Now, when I got this album, I was looking at them like, Pearly Gates. Instant thought, Singing Americans, their version of the song. This is not that song. Of course, I think when the Singing Americans recorded it, that was brand new, so that's about 10 minutes early, 10 years early. Time traveling, it's 10 minutes early, but 10 years early. And this has a solo soprano hitting these really high notes on ah, and it's interesting to hear. When I was working with Pastor Andrews, the pastor I work with who played the bass on this album, he and his wife were both reminiscing about that particular song, and that's that descant that's playing up there in the rafters, I guess you could say. And it makes the song memorable and fun. Next one is I Know Where I'm Going, and yes, I do know where I don't know, maybe not know where I'm going on this interview, but not this interview, but this review, but what the message of the song is, I know I'm going to heaven. And the question that's baked at the end of the song is, I know where I'm going, but do you know where you're going? Simple message, and it ends that song on a question. It's kind of interesting. And here's the second song by the quartet. So I guess it is 3 songs. I'm looking at the backliner of the album. It's This Could Be Your Last Chance, and I wanted to get a quartet together and sing the song. It is a good, strong message, and I enjoy it. The bass singer, there's no credits there's no naming of the vocalists on here like they do now at Heartland. Of course, they did things a lot differently 44 years ago, I guess. So, of course, you know, I guess putting in a inner liner on an album, it's a little expensive, and when you're a new college starting out, you don't really have the money for fancy artwork. But it is actually one of my favorite songs. The next one is "Behold the Man," which is one of those longer songs that has different feels to it, and it seems like several songs within one. Not a medley, but you kind of get it, where they're changing time, the tune's changing, and then it goes back to the end. And it is a song about our Savior. The 11th song, actually the last two songs, so track 5 on the record, and if you were to be able to record it onto a CD, it'd be track 11, obviously. It's actually one of my two personal favorites from this album is "What a Happy Day," and that's another song by the quartet, and it's fun. It sounds like the melody is in the baritone, which is different. And then after the second verse, they come to a bridge of "What a Day That Will Be." And one of my favorite things to do on "What a Day That Will Be" is on that part where it goes back to the 4 on "When He Takes Me by the Hand." That "When He takes me by the hand," when it goes to the 4, you'll go to minor 4. Oh man, that's just so awesome. And then the final song is "He's the Lord of Glory," which I was actually able to arrange and have my choir sing. And that's a really, really fun song. It's a quick, less than 2-minute song to end it. And also, it's fun to play the bass guitar along with. I think that's why Pastor Andrews and I clicked so well, because we were both bass guitarists. And the first time he actually met me and saw me, I was playing in a unofficial bluegrass group for Heartland called Heartland Grass, and I was playing the bass guitar, and he was excited that I was playing the bass like that. And so it is so "He's the Lord of Glory" is a fun song to play. It is a quick song, easy to learn. The ranges might be a little hard for small choir, but I'd encourage anyone to sing it. It's fun. So that is the whole album. 12 songs in all. Good selection. I might do a review of some more classic Pacific Coast albums. They are really, really great albums. I wish we could get our hands on the masters, but and do some digital remastering. I tried to clean up the recording that I have as much as possible, but you can't do so. You can only do so much without the masters, and especially when you have an LP record. There's popping in the background, which some people, they like that. Some people, they want a clean sound on a CD, which is understandable. But given the current situation between Heartland and some of the old staff and faculty at Pacific Coast, it just won't go very well, and it's an unfortunate thing. I wish there was a way that we could all put aside our differences, but it's a sign of the times, and it's unfortunate, but we see God's in control, and it's still a privilege to be able to possess a piece of my college's history and be able to listen to it and enjoy it. So if you like the reviews and want to hear them keep coming, then please like, subscribe, be sure to tell your friends about the channel. I love reviewing these albums. I like listening to them. I like being able to share them with people. I really look forward to doing some more of these classic Pacific Coast albums in the near future. And maybe one day we will be able to have them digitally remastered and re-released for a new audience to enjoy and love. So that's all we have for now. Have a great week. God bless, and I hope to be able to continue on this series of reviews hopefully next Tuesday. Bye for now.